Welcome to the DSQ podcast with Blake Lawson and Dakota Reynolds.
Alright guys, so foreshadowing is a narrative device in which a storyteller gives an advanced hint of what is about to come later in the story. Often appears at the beginning of a story and helps to develop to subvert the audience's expectations of upcoming events. So last week... Oh hey, by the way, Australian GP episode, woo.
Ooh.
So last week was, of course, an off week, a little bit of a break, for teams to get stuff together, like, maybe have a third chassis ready or just have a break or anything like that. So we were going to do an off week episode like we talked about. We recorded it. I didn't think it was that great, just kind of all over the place. Decided not to release it. Our off week episode was about Logan Sargent. And about back in his F2 rookie year, him, long story short, getting announced as the Antoine Hubert Award winner, Rookie of the Year, and then getting passed up on that, even though it was already announced as him. Again, if you look up that thing, it's kind of hard to research, but look that up if you're curious on what happened, because that's actually all we know about what happened. There's not a whole lot out there.
I was like, all we did was make conspiracy theories, because there's not really any conclusion to that story.
Yeah, like... Has Logan been, kind of got bias against him? But hey, whatever. So Australia. Of course, up into probably lap 3 of the GP, the biggest story being Williams not having a third chassis available. And, well, that's fine, as long as nobody wrecks it into turn 6 and 7 and 8. And Alex, what have you done?
Oh, God. I can't say too much on the accident itself. It's not something that I was available to watch at the time, and I haven't really gone back and watched it that much. I don't care to watch it because it will just serve to break my heart. I feel for the guy. I feel for both of them. I feel for Alex for causing the whole disaster in the first place, wrecking it out in 6, 7, and 8 in the first practice session of the weekend. But I feel even worse for Logan, because while we may dunk on him a little bit here and there, that has to suck being the person who was not responsible for the accident, and now you have to give up your car for the weekend.
Yeah, and you said you did not see the wreck. I will say, do you remember Alex's wreck from last year?
Fairly, yes.
It was that again, just rinse and repeat. So of course... Logan having to sit out. Alex, given the best point, and yes, when you look at last year's statistics, points were 27 to 1. So, yeah, it makes sense on paper. He did get out of Q1, which was good. That was the thing. I was like, here's your first step, is you have to make it out of Q1 to prove that this swap. But then to come into the dreaded 11th place, just outside the points, it kind of... I don't know. Do you feel good about that as Logan? Or
in general, just of, hey, I gave up my vehicle just for us to not get points. I mean, there's going to be two sides to it for Logan. There's going to be the the consummate professional side, where he says, well, we gave it our best effort. The team did what they thought was right. It didn't pay off. Is what it is. We experiment, we live and learn. Then there's the, I'm watching from the sidelines and didn't get to race this weekend because of him. And you motherfucker, you had all of the chance in the world. I had none, and you still didn't fucking score points for us. Yeah, I was like, there's definitely going to be two sides to that. But all you're going to hear is the professional side of it.
Yep, and so here's the follow-up to this is now, okay, Logan has to come in and kill Suzuka. I'm not saying he's finishing first. I'm not saying he's getting a podium. But he's got it.
Can he finish podium? That would help me out.
Yeah. Sorry. It's like the second we go to record and my sinus allergies are like, close. I'd say he has to at least, in a practice session, do better than Alex. Maybe even out-qualify. If he can get points next weekend, I think that'll solidify the...
I think that's an instant contract signing.
Yeah.
I was like, he gets signed on for the next year. Boom. Done. it does extra suck for him because he is in a year where it's very, very pertinent that he gets he capitalizes on as many opportunities as he has. Because if he does not, then that's a good ticket to be out of the sport. And I kind of don't want to see that, even though, again, we dunk on the guy. But, hey, an American in F1.
And kind of definitely maybe definitely an underdog, and as we've said with, our foreshadowing story and all that, is maybe overlooked an extra, or not overlooked, but not seen as a competitor as much. I guess it's still the same but different ways of saying it. It sucks. I will say it sucks, but not as much as maybe the race. At least if you are a Max Verstappen train or a Lewis Hamilton or a Team LH, because when you think about it, we had Max out on lap 3, Lewis out on 15, and Logan Sargent not starting. That's 10 world championships combined sitting there not finishing this race.
It's an average of 3 1/3 per person, That's great work from all 3 of them.
Of course, I think, obviously, we were heading into this before the race, saying, okay, the Logan-Alex thing is definitely going to be the biggest story.
Yeah.
And Max is like, hold my brake duct, literally closed, and I'm going to DNF. At least that's so far. I haven't heard anything else. That's what he said so far. Is like basically a handbrake was just basically stuck, and the more it went,
it's just going to rub and generate heat, and suddenly fire. And at that point, it's done. Like, that entire rear end will just catch and go. I was like, whenever he was pulling into the pits, I was like, Max, you are a Verstappen, you need to get out of that car as soon as possible. Yeah. But do not chance that thing with being on fire.
Yeah, and then they showed that little in the pit right before the exit for the support series pits. Just a little blowout to the side. Yeah. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah, no, oh, this is a little bit serious. Okay, go.
But, yep, I think I love the way they're talking about on the after show with, which I swear, Jack Doohan is just a Formula One commentator, not a reserve driver. He's really good at it, and it was just him and Laura on the after show, and they talked about it as like when Carlos passed, they were just like, "Huh, cool, this could be a race," and then that's the kind of the first thing is like, "Wait, maybe something is wrong," and during the 2 is oh, maybe we were robbed of a really good.
Yeah,
Sainz versus Verstappen.
I feel like this could have been a race if it had not been for the actual issue itself. But, regardless, it still gave us variety. I was like, we're not the same copy-paste. Hey, here's Verstappen, here's a Ferrari, here's another Ferrari, a McLaren,
Checo,
or Checo, yeah.
Or Fernando. Sorry, my throat is just killing me now. All of a sudden. And then Lewis, I have lap 15. I'm pretty sure it's lap 15, but I also saw lap 17. I don't know who's wrong, who's right. Just engine. He goes, man, that Red Bull's fast. And then I think his engine dies out of embarrassment of being passed by Checo.
Oh my God. Everyone who commented on it got fucked up this week.
I made that comment too, is when Checo passed, George. He also commented on, wow, that car's fast. And I was like, hey, careful. Look, last time someone commented on that happening, they exploded.
Yeah.
And I guess it did. You just caught up a little bit later. Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't put that on there. Oh, I did put it at the very bottom on my notes. And that was the other thing, is the last lap retirement. Well, crash.
Yeah, crash. I mean, he still technically classifies. Yeah. He just classifies as last of the finishers.
Which I know you'll have a comment on. Of course, it was a battle between George and Alonso. And what looked like a normal racing thing, but the stewards took a look at it, and I will definitely now let you say your piece on that.
Yeah, okay. So I had been, throughout the past 24 hours, or not even 24 hours, but I've been, I haven't seen the telemetry yet, but just from what I've seen, this, how in the world could this be called? I was like, I finally, within the last, hour, taken the time to look at the telemetry for it. And, yeah, the man is braking very, very early. Very, very early. But I still hesitate to call it a penalty. A reprimand or something similar, sure, absolutely. But I also don't think that it was a actually like what Fernando said, which was like, oh, I just decided to try something different. The man's experienced. The man's got several. The man is the oldest man on the grid right now. He's been at this longer than Piastri's been alive. He knows what he's doing. That being said, though, I don't think it should have been extreme as it is. And I think the only reason why it got pushed as it was A, there's a gravel trap there, and B, the person that he did it to has a habit of crashing on his own anyways. So, those two things combined together, crash happens, and now he's not gotten away with it.
Of course, the penalty being a drive-through, but since it was done post, I guess it goes to a 20-second. I don't know if that's accurate or not on the time of a normal drive-through or not.
Yeah, I was like, we really haven't had very many, if any, drive-throughs since I've been watching F1, so I know in the past it was either 10 or 20 seconds. I don't know if they reformulated that whenever they did all the penalty changes for this year.
Yeah, but that drops Fernando down to 14th. Nope. He's number 14. That drops him down to P8. Wow.
I was like, he still scored points.
He still scored points. Still scored 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Awkward pause. I was just going back. I was like, because I was looking at the thing and I forgot I because he still he didn't finish, but he still classified. So I think in the technical terms, Russell is in P17. I was reading reading my notes.
Yeah, he is in technical terms P17. He classifies as P17. Even though he was still a lap ahead of all the people that were that finished a lap down. He still gets P17 because he technically did not finish that race, but he's able to classify for it.
Which, did you hear the radio from him in the cockpit while he's sideways on the track?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, he sounds scared. He's like, red flag, I'm right in the middle, please, red flag.
I mean, fair enough.
Which I would, yeah. It was the last lap. People were going away. I understand why they didn't, but if it was any other lap, definitely he should have red flagged that one immediately.
Definitely right where it was too, because that's a very fast part of the track. I was like, when I saw the actual line telemetry for Fernando, I was like, it dipped down to like 260 kilometers per hour. So, I mean, what the fuck is a kilometer?
I don't know what that means.
But like, general kilometer to American units math, just half it. So that's still like 130, 120 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So
fast
ridiculously fast. Faster than you will ever catch me driving on I-35.
Catching. That's the thing. And then going back to, I guess, also, as we talked about, Mercedes double DNFing. Checo only finishing P5. Did sustain some floor damage, is what we heard post-race.
I did see something about that. Again, another one of these damned tear-offs.
Yep.
Yeah, that caused some damage on it. Like, it just got caught somewhere, and then that threw off the arrow and then caused damage.
And then that also happened, that was, I think, looking at the P16 loss of the finishers, is Esteban Ocon. Of course. He also had a tear-off in brake duct problem.
Yeah, but does he need help finishing P16?
No.
Not this year, anyways.
Yeah. So car problems, there's a lot more car problems. We'll get to Sauber in a little bit. Let's talk about not Sauber, or Kick, or not Sake this week, thank God. No gambling and no tobacco vaping products. So no Velo on McLaren, and then no Stake for Sauber this week. So all the big talking point, starting with practices, is this was an entire tire compound softer than we were last year. And it seemed to be causing a lot of problems. Like, the soft was almost too soft. And we saw, the laughable hard tire being the preferred race tire on a two-stop.
Yeah. I was like, even from the standpoint of, like, I was looking at, while the race was going on, of course, we had the main feed being on our main screen. And then you had, I think, the track on your computer. I had on my phone pulled up the timing, the statistics, all that stuff that has all of the, like, hey, this is how long they've been on this tire and so on. I think, pit as soon as Max went out. Like, they went from the softs and they were just like, nope, this is not going to work. We're going to mediums or we're going to hards. And I think everyone went to hards.
Yeah, and talking about that, even like, so we had 2 VSCs. One lap 3, one lap 58, 57, whatever the last lap was, or second last lap. Both were only lasted a lap, basically. Oh no, sorry, that was not. Max did not get a safety car because Max pulled it in. It was lap 15 with Lewis.
Yes.
Again, one lap, of course, being, the most winning drivers on the track right now. They know the best way to, pull their car. Lewis pulled over right in front of an opening in the wall. Max managed to get that thing back to the pits on fire. So there wasn't a whole lot of benefit from VSCs for pit stops either. So it was really just strategy, and I think we saw the strategy affect the most would be the whole McLaren with, as much as you'd want, your homeboy Oscar to be the winner and especially be on the podium, Lando was on the better strategy for that, and there was no way to fix the strategy they're running on.
Yeah, at that point, no.
Also, there seemed to be braking issues and sliding all the way from FP1 all the way through, and probably what led to, it led to the pit start for Zhou, which I won't blame on Sauber this time. There's plenty to blame. Again, we'll get there here shortly.
We're getting there.
But sliding, a lot of plank wear, a lot of floor damage, especially FP1 was super close, and then FP2 was just all over the place. It seemed like all the cars were very loose and very not as controlled as you normally see. And obviously it being a temp track, having to repave, re-rubber it up. But it still seemed like because obviously we see that in Miami.
Yeah.
Miami was Slide-a-Palooza last year. I'm looking forward to being that again.
You're just hoping.
But it just seemed, I don't know, that seemed like an odd Australian GP setup from what we've seen.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how maybe local weather affected it, like the temperatures, stuff like that. Maybe it's just the resurface in general. Australia's always been a little bit weird. I was like,
the entire thing's upside down.
Of course, last year we had, Crash-a-Palooza.
12 car DNF, I think. 10 car, at least 10, if not 12.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I was like, I feel like it was 10, but it very well could have been 12, and I will agree with you on it, regardless. Yeah, no, insane. So I don't know. I don't know if it was just, I don't know if it's just the track in general or what it is.
Yeah, and fair warning, if you hear the thunder on the recording or if we suddenly cut out, there's some severe weather moving in, so hopefully we'll get through this before any naders come down the plains.
Yeehaw.
Coming down the plains at you at 1,000,000 miles an hour like Sauber's wheel nuts. Let's get to Sauber finally.
Let's get there.
We'll start with that one. 5,000 euro. What the fuck is a euro? Fine. I believe it was on the good. So they had 4 pit stops. One was good, and on the one good pit stop, they had I believe it was the right rear, obviously, just go flying off track or flying onto the fast lane. So 5,000 euro just for like, hey, that's debris that's going to cause a puncture,
it's a dangerous situation,
floor damage, hit somebody on the pit wall, or anything like that. Very bad, but that's not even the worst thing.
For reference, by the way, $5,400.
$5,400 US. Oh, so it's actually more. Nice. Yeah. American dollar. I can't keep track. But so there is the one good stop, and I believe that was Valtteri's stop.
Yeah, because they replayed it.
Yeah. Which I love Sam Collins. He's like, watch right. Sam Collins had the perfect breakdown on the F1 Tech Talk. Go watch it, please. It's great. The 2 other bad stops were, of course, the same problem with the nuts, or as Crofty so eloquently put it on broadcast,
he's got the sticky nuts.
He's got the sticky nuts. Oh, Crofty.
Oh, I love Crofty so much. He brings the best facts. He brings the best descriptions of events. He brings the 5 red lights, and away we go.
It's gonna be bad. The three. He is, of course, taking 3 races mid-season off, so we'll probably miss him dearly.
Oh yeah, no, we'll hit the race after that, and we'll be begging for him to come back.
But so 2 bad stops, and then the 4th stop was Zhou Guanyu. And I thought it was, oh, they messed up 2 of his stops with bad nuts. It wasn't. His car just shut off. It just, I don't know if it anti-stalled. That was some lightning over there. Not the meme of the, actual lightning. It just, he had to basically restart the car. Like, if that's not the biggest red flag for Sauber, like, there's some serious working you guys need to do. You guys may have a 3rd chassis, which puts you ahead of some teams on the grid. But, I mean, and they didn't have an extra spec of the wing also, too. Like, they weren't prepared for a potential, I mean, I guess there was a lot more floor damage and stuff and wing damage than they expected. But Sauber needs to get it together. Like, this is embarrassing. If I was Audi, I'd be very much second-guessing my, like, how much investment and stuff am I now going to have to put into this team more than I was expecting to?
Yeah.
And your drivers coming into it as well.
Yeah, no kidding. I was like, to be fair, I was like, they've got 2 really good drivers. I was like, Valtteri, been great forever and a half. Yeah, sure, he's a little on the decline, but some of that can be blamed on the team anyways. And then you've got Zhou Guanyu, which literally every race seems to be, hey, I'm doing really good, team, let's go pit. And then suddenly now I'm in last place because you guys don't know how to manufacture a car that will work one way or the other, either being, hey, we're trying to change the tires, oh, well, oops, or
there goes the
hey,
nut down to Red Bull.
Boom. I don't get it. I was like, they have great drivers. Well, they have good drivers.
I would like to see what they do in another car. I know that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's just like, hey, can we borrow an old, like, can we race the RB19? Can we borrow an RB19 just to see what they're capable of real fast?
Put Zhou in the Williams.
That would be nice.
Yeah. I was like, if Logan doesn't make it this year, put Zhou in the Williams. I kind of want to see what he can do in that. Zhou and Alex. That could be some pretty decent places for Williams. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself on that one. This is assuming our American friend does not continue on.
Like, it is only race 3.
It is.
But we feel like silly season's already started. But again, I feel like the Lewis Carlos thing was the preseason of silly season.
Yeah.
And we're in for a hell of a whatever's going to happen with 13 driver contracts up this year.
And as you say, it is race 3. Where was McLaren at race 3 of last year?
Not good.
Bottom of the barrel. So teams can absolutely make a turnaround in that time. So, and we're just at the start of it. So here's hoping. I was like, I feel like the wheel nut's something that can very easily just be, oh, hey, let's tweak this one design. Boom, we're done.
It's like, go down to Haas and borrow one of their machining machines, and just fix those threads. Other than that, I feel like obviously, like, I think if Max not being Max DNFing obviously kind of made the race more interesting, but also felt kind of boring a little bit to me. I think we were really robbed on the Max versus Sainz thing. That being said, Sainz coming off of, like, the earliest, it's like, okay, yes, after this surgery, you can kind of start being okay.
You can start moving around. I was like, I read somewhere on Twitter. God, I don't use Twitter. Only for the FIA decision documents.
Yep.
I read somewhere on Reddit, even worse. Someone was like, yeah, no, after 2 weeks, I was, like, told that I can finally get my stitches out, and this man's racing in a Ferrari. It's like,
racing on one of the fastest tracks on the calendar,
yeah,
apart from last week, or 2 weeks ago, and winning. So, I think I voted for Carlos Driver of the Day. I believe you also voted for Carlos Driver of the Day. He won Driver of the Day with 32%, I want to say.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I think well-deserved. His team was there to celebrate him this time. Chuck came up, gave him a big ol' hug, carefully. Everybody was very gentle.
They were going to have to be there regardless, because Charles was there. Yeah. I was like, if they didn't show up then it's a... Well, I'll say it's a Ferrari clown fest, but that's just given.
Hey, they were there.
They were there. Forza Ferrari.
Which I thought the proceeding was... the podium was weird. Mm-hmm. Or not the podium, but the procedure beforehand of having the one pull in front of the screen, have the other two kind of sit there. It seemed weird. The audio was off, which sucks because I think it surprised us both.
I think it surprised
everybody.
everybody.
The highlight of the race is post-race interviews by none other than our Lord and Savior from Haas,
Guenther Steiner.
It was awesome. I saw that, and I was just like the Leo DiCaprio meme of like, hey, hey, hey. I was like, it's Guenther. Is it really Guenther? And we're like, oh. Like, it was the most exciting thing of the race. It honestly was.
There was another thing that I saw from, I guess, the pre-race interviews where he was interviewing Kevin Magnussen. They looked like they were having a grand old time.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't you send me that after.
Yeah. I was like, it wasn't a live thing or anything, but it was like there was a still image. They looked like they were fucking having the time.
I was like, I knew he signed on to do some stuff for not F1 itself, but F1 broadcasting in Germany. Mm-hmm. So I had no idea he was going to be doing any post-race. Especially that was just awesome. Definitely the highlight of the race. Did we go over the George Russell statistic before we get on to our 3 stars?
Not.
So the fun statistic to come out of this is George Russell has crashed in all 3 of Carlos Sainz's victories. Of course, this one, so Australia 2024 on the last lap. Last season, Singapore on the last lap. And then the first lap of Silverstone in 22, which of course was the Zhou Guan Yu
somersault.
Thank God for Halo masterclass. That was the other one. So if I don't know if Carlos is up to some stuff, but I think we have a way he can guarantee some more P1s.
What you're saying is that every off week we need to have a George Russell story.
Yeah.
And then not put it out.
So, and, okay, so of course, obviously, this is getting into it. We loved WTF1, and then when Matt and Tommy moved to their own P1, we love P1. Matt's fucking predicted it. He had Verstappen out of the top 5 on his predictions, and I'm so angry about it. Especially because, we had somebody comment on that. It's like, oh, Matt's being Delulu, and I think that was it. That's what sealed the fate. Like, her commenting that basically put the break.
It's like the you know what you sound like right now, right? You sound like Steve talking about the
wave.
The fans doing the wave.
Yeah, there's equivalent of the waves of the Maple Leafs fans doing the wave while they're down 2 goals versus the Carolina Hurricane. There's your hockey crossover for this episode. Once again, bringing up Steve Dangle. That's so many times we bring up Steve Dangle.
So many times.
Yeah, so George, keep it out of the wall and or I guess keep putting it in the wall. And hell.
Just, don't send it into the middle of the track next time.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous. I did see one that was like, basically the way his car was laying, like the Family Guy pose, or the Woody just laying after he gets, I don't want to play with you anymore from Toy Story pose. So, yeah, lots of memes coming out. All right, let's get on to the 3 stars before this storm takes us out. How about you go first? Because I think I went first last time.
Okay, do we still want to alternate, or just one go, or how do we want to do it?
Let's just do one go, and then I guess 3, 2, 1?
Yeah, bet. All right, so my number 3. This kind of pained me to write down, but I think he kind of deserves it this week. My number 3 is Lance Stroll.
All right.
Yeah, I know, very bold. He had a quiet race.
He did.
Which is a lot to say for Lance Stroll.
I mean, he finished... Usually
he's cutting someone off, he's getting in someone's way, he's sending
it
into a wall.
Asking if he can get out of the wall.
Yeah. He had a quiet race. He snuck in. He gained 3 places from his qualifying. Granted, 1 or 2 of them may have been from DNFs. All 3 of them may have been from DNFs. But... you know what? He gained those 3 places. He was still in the points regardless. There were no complaints this week, so I
didn't hear a radio. There was no radios.
There was no radios talking about him.
No replays, really? I don't even think.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess there was, because there was a little bit of a battle for a little bit there, but yeah. I mean, he finished P6, so.
Yeah. Number 3, Lance Stroll. For number 2, Nico Hülkenberg.
Okay.
Very solid drive this week. He was knocked out Q1, so, already on the back foot there, especially when there's only 4 people that are going to be knocked out in Q1 this week. No Logan. But he gained 7 places off of that. He ended up finishing in P9, got points for the team. Superb. I was like, both of the Haas's sort of got the benefit of George crashing in the last couple of laps. But regardless, he had a solid drive. went from P16 to P9. Spectacular job from him. And my number one star goes not to a driver, but to the entire team of Ferrari. Being able to capitalize off of the disaster that happened to Max. They listened to their drivers when they tried to strategize. They kept everything correct in the pit stops. Ferrari pulled off a masterclass for at least one single week.
They can ride that high for the rest of the season.
They can ride that high all the way to Hungary when Sainz is due to win again. Because it's apparently been every 10 races.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, his last race win was 10 races ago. And then now Max has won every race in between. So 10 races from now is apparently Hungary, which he's notoriously been bad at. But who knows?
It's like Hungary seems like one of Max's tracks, but so is Australia.
You might have another brake issue.
Which, I guess, I did not bring this up. This was Max's first DNF since Australia 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe it's not Max's track, as I just said. Okay, so my 3 drivers of the day, or third star driver, is the one who didn't drive, Logan Sargent. He deserves something. He did quite literally take something for the team. The team took his... Actually, the team took something from him, I guess. The car.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, he definitely would have been an honorable mention for me, but yeah, no. With 3, yeah, I get it.
It's like, it sucks. I'm sure, obviously he wasn't the happiest, but he still put on the brave face, was still there at the track. He didn't mope, he didn't hide in a hotel, didn't hide in the back of the garage. He was still out there doing stuff. So, good for Logan for the third star. I hope he has a good Suzuka here in 2 weeks. Second star is a little bit of bias, but he got, after the adjustment from the penalty for New Orlando, he got 6 points, which is way more points than they have gotten in a while. It's Yuki Tsunoda with a P7 finish, again adjusted because it puts Fernando right behind him. I was like, he only gained 1 spot really, so he still would have had 4 points. He still would have tied the entirety of Haas between the last 2 races, and now he's got 6. Huge for Toro Rosso. Refuse to call it that.
Yeah, no, it's
refuse.
Toro Rosso.
And then number 1, same as the driver of the day, because yes, it was an endoscopic surgery with 3 holes, but that's still a lot. And apparently it takes off 5 seconds of drag if you get one taken away. So I think everybody's going to be busting appendix over the next couple weeks.
Charles has already made his appointment.
Yeah. Number 1 star, of course, Carlos Sainz. Great race. Again, looked promising, even if Max was basically being braked the entire time he was racing for those 3 laps. He still did a good drive. He still kept it up. He still put up with... Hopefully, if Ferrari did try to pull any Ferrari things, he was like, my car, we're doing this way. Smooth operation last week, or 2 weeks ago, and a smooth operation this week with the driving.
He is the smooth operator.
Yep, even though he almost forgot to sing it.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely forgot to sing it, and then his engineer kicked in. I was like, hey, so you got your luck going still.
All right, that is it for Australia. I think we thought anything else you can think of to mention?
Other than doing a quick rundown of the grid, I was like, there's a lot of pluses this week.
Go for it.
I was like, most everyone gained positions this week. You had Carlos Sainz gained 1 spot to win. Leclerc in P2 gained 2 spots. Lando did not change. Started 3, ended 3. Piastri gained a position. Checo gained a position. Lance Stroll gained 3 positions. Yuki gained a spot. Alonso gained 2 even after the penalty. Hulkenberg, of course, gained 7. Magnussen gained 4. Albon gained a spot. Danny Rick gained 6. Gasly gained 4. Bottas lost 1. And Zhou gained 4 after his pit start. But then, of course, both of them get the same pit disasters as always. Ocon lost a position. Russell lost 10 due to, classifying but not finishing the race. Hamilton DNF'd P18 due to his engine. And Max DNF'd P19 due to the brake issue that caused the fire. Hamilton losing 7 positions. Max losing 18.
And Logan losing 0 positions.
Logan didn't lose any positions, so I mean, hey, at least he's got that consistency going.
All right. So as we go, another week off in between, and then we're back in Suzuka. More grumbling, I'm sure, from the UU fans. Kind of okay. I feel like this wasn't
the midnight
as bad.
race, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like this run, compared to last year, this run wasn't too bad for us. Of course, it was midnight and then 11 p.m. race. It was like, stayed up, watched the Leafs game, went to have some food, and then just waited another hour, watched the race. Freaked the fuck out in the first minute when Max Verstappen is billowing out the back.
It definitely is better off for you if you're a night owl as opposed to if you're an early bird.
I understand. So, yep, but more things. Our first Suzuka race early in the season, the first Suzuka where Max cannot win the championship at for the last couple of years.
No kidding. I was like, I'm excited to see if, hopefully, we don't have a rain issue for Suzuka, because I'm tired of bad things almost happening because of the rain.
Yep, hopefully, and maybe, I was like, Seb loves Suzuka. Maybe we'll see an appearance. I know he's busy with some WEC stuff. I heard another rumor about maybe a Mercedes seat next year. I think it might be some hopium. I would subscribe to that.
I will take that hopium and inject it straight into my veins.
But I don't know. We'll see. Of course, off week next week. Don't know if we're planning on doing the episode. We will for sure be having another episode after Suzuka. Yuki's home race, so I'm happy. Hopefully he'll do. He has not won points at his home race, so hopefully he can. He's got 6.
Got 6.
The first 6 is always the hardest, is what they say. I just realized that floor is sticky. Interesting. What is this? A Sauber garage? All right, everybody. Thank you. We're gonna end this because the wind is definitely picking up, and we're in the plains where the wind will come sweeping and.
It's like, you know
Sirens
that song.
ablazing.
I don't. So.
All right. We will see you all next time.
Goodbye.
Follow the pod everywhere at DSQ Pod, and follow the crew at Medic50 and at GoluCody30.